This is Ron McFarland. I'm your professor for Computer Science 190, and I wanted to walk through the course syllabus with you so that we're all on the same track. Just a bit about me before I get started. I have my doctorate in computer science. I have a postdoc in cybersecurity technology, and I've been working as a professor for other schools, University of New Mexico, UCLA, and currently CSU Channel Islands as well. So I've got a lot of background. I've also worked in industry and still do as well. So just to give you some assurance that I have been in the tech field for quite a long time, and I've done quite a bit of programming. But this course, just to walk you through everything, we're going to use this product called Mindtap, and you'll see it right here on the web, on the very top of this syllabus. And Mindtap gives you 6-month access to a lot of different labs that you will be walking through, and you'll need this access code. There's a textbook ISBN and ISBN 10, the shorter version, and ISBN 13, the more international flavor, if you will. Just to let you know, there is a lot of content in this course. It is crammed full with basically 16 weeks compressed down to 4 weeks. So if you're looking for a really easy course, this ain't it. But if you're looking for a course that'll give you some really solid technical background, and if you'll see on the note, up on the syllabus, we're going to learn about HTML5, CSS 3, that stands for Cascading Style Sheets, version 3, and JavaScript. Those three are our centerpieces, if you will. And to be honest with you, you can actually probably get these skills down, do some practice, and probably even find either a solo gig or some work on the side that you could do with these skills. So this is very marketable, and if both JavaScript and Python are the two top scripting languages right now. So again, I'm sliding up through here. We're only doing about 4 weeks. It's really about 4.5 weeks. Everything's crammed in from 15, 16 weeks into 4.5 weeks. So that's a lot of compression there. We're doing a week-by-week mark where we work on several items in a 7-week period, including some discussion questions. And we're doing this all in Canvas Learning Management System, the LMS, that's many of you probably have already been using anyway. So here we go. Here's the weekly schedule. Week 1 starts on the 2nd and continues through the 8th. Things do lock down at the end of week 1 at 11 p.m. in that specific time. Likewise, I'm not going to read you all of these weeks, but you can see that. But week 5 is a shorter week. I think we're only at, I believe it's 4 days or 3 days. So anyway, week 1, I want to walk through week 1 in particular. You see this whole block of items right here from week 1. Week 1 discussion questions. Now in Canvas, there's some real generic like discussion questions. It's basically mostly what I'd like to see is everyone sharing. If somebody has a problem with something, post it out in Canvas and other folks can jump in and share. But also at the end of the week, I'm also looking for a recap of, after you submitted your work, you'll have some comments and suggestions, or maybe even some interesting things that you've learned. That kind of conversation. I want this course to be very valuable to you because it'll build up some really good and really in-demand skills, and plus get you in tune with the whole computer science field as well. So in week 1, if I scroll up and down, we've got tutorial 1, tutorial 2, tutorial 3, and an in the news section. So we have 3 major items to do. Tutorial 1 is getting started with HTML5, and there's some items on here that you'll be able to click through on the screen. So you'll see the same syllabus mapping posted in a modularized setup in the course. What will happen, you'll have basically a week 1 module, a week 2 module, and a module for every week. So you'll have 5 main modules. And there's also another module that contains supplementary material. So in week 1's module, you'll see the tutorial Getting Started with HTML5. When you click on the Getting Started or the Visualize or any of these other hyperlinks, you'll see not only some content, it'll be either a PowerPoint presentation or a video or even a little recording, audio recording, or an assignment that you'll do. So each one of these is set up in a course module as a link. So in the syllabus, it's just all pretty raw right here. So this is the listing of items you'll do. Tutorial 1, Getting Started with HTML. You just click sequentially all the way through these items and do the work. Okay. The quizzes here are pretty small. All in all, this class, by the way, in Tutorial 1, I think this quiz has 8 questions. So that should be pretty straightforward to do with all the content that you've walked through by this point in time with the quiz. All in all, there's probably not a lot of, on a percentage-wise, there's probably maybe 5% of the course is testing. The rest is all hands-on stuff. So I don't know about you, but I learned a lot better from doing hands-on activities, and that's why this course is geared this way. So, and there's also a lot of reading and that sort of thing, reflecting. Tutorial 2 is Getting Started with Cascading Style Sheets. That's that very powerful piece of technology that was in the mid to late 90s. That technology came to fruition, if you will. Still in use today. And then designing a page layout. So all of week 1, you're getting started with HTML5, cascading style sheets, the page layout. And there's a little bit of info in the news about this thing called Smashing Magazine. And what you're required to do is do a small narrative on what you've read. So that's more current topics, if you will. I always get this question on how long will each one of these modules take. I'd honestly say it depends, of course, on your level of skill, but I'd say on average 3 or 4 hours. So if you're talking 4 hours, that's 12, and maybe a couple for here. You're talking maybe 15 hours per week. So you'll be churning a lot with this course. I'm like I'm saying, it's not an easy course, but also at the same time, it's not a hard course. It takes a lot of your attention and a lot of your focus. I want to just step on into week 2 just briefly and then highlight 3, 4, and 5. But week 2, likewise, we have week 2 discussion questions. Week 2 has tutorial 4, 5, 6, and another in the news items. But tutorial 4 is more with CSS. Tutorial 5 is designing for the mobile web. Tutorial 6 is working with tables and columns, and then more in the news, /dot. That's kind of an interesting story right there. Week 3, likewise, discussion questions, tutorial 7, 8, 9, and in the news. So weeks 1, 2, and 3 each have 3 modules in the news item. Week 4, we have tutorial 10, 11, and 12, and no reading module. But you'll see we're starting to get a little thicker into the coding aspect, because in week 3, if I scroll up here, tutorial 9 is getting started into JavaScript. Now JavaScript is a scripting language, and there's a lot of similarities between a real basic Java, because Java can get real thick and heavy, but if you're doing really kind of basic Java, or C or C++, the syntax between JavaScript and C, C++, and Java is kind of similar. There's some differences, but there's kind of similar. So you'll get if this is your first programming language, you'll get kind of a sense of what it would be like to work in a larger language, something that has more features. But JavaScript, that would be in week 2, tutorial 9, the third tutorial. And then we start getting in week 4 arrays, loops, and conditional statements that are used pretty much in all languages. But focused, of course, on JavaScript. Working with events and styles. And events and styles, in a way, you're kind of leaning into what's called object-oriented technology, lightly with events. We'll get there. And working with document nodes and style sheets, that's when you combine things, if you will. A node, very much like a node on a plant, if you will, is a little item instance, if you will, and style sheets, you can kind of pull those node items together. So we'll see in this is kind of an interesting walkthrough of photography, JS works, and some other items here. Now week 5, our last week, again, this is a short week. I think it's 4 days. You've got 2 modules. So given that each module takes, let's say, 4 hours at an average. Now, sometimes you'll look at some modules and it may take you a little longer, and other times you'll be able to breeze through some concepts. So you'll, even though it's 4 days, you're still talking 8 or 9 hours worth of work on that one very short week. So all in all, if you add in all the hours that are kind of anticipated, let's say 15 hours per week times 4 for the first 4 weeks, that's 60 hours. Plus this last week, you're talking 70 hours in a small portion of time. Now, over a 16-week period, semester, or 15-week semester, that's not so bad. It just gets the time compression with 4.5 weeks. But then again, you get 3 semester hours, and you get a really pretty solid background with working with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So I wanted to put this out here since it's an online course, this recording out here. And also, if you email me, please use my College of the Canyons email. If you use another outside email, make sure that you indicate what school you're from, since I have an association with a couple of universities and colleges right now. And I don't want to hunt through 4 or 5 different areas because, well, the time constraint for both of us. There you go. So keep in touch. I'll be in the course constantly. But if anything comes up, let's see, text me, email me, give me a phone call, but leave me a message if I don't answer. And I'll get back with you in any of those modes. And let's see. My wish for you is good success. This will take some time and focus to get through the next 4.5 weeks. And I believe that anyone can do JavaScript, CSS3, and HTML5, and you can do it well. Again, it just takes a little bit of time and patience working with some of the tools and reading, that sort of thing. So enjoy it. I'll see you online. You take care.